Well, I hope everybody's enjoying their lunch. Welcome again. My name is Jeff Holsinger. I'm the CEO of Volunteers of America, Northern Rockies. I'd like to welcome you all again who are here in person, and those of you who are turned in virtually. I want to welcome everybody. We're excited to celebrate the accomplishment of this merger and what it means for those who we serve. I want to offer a special thanks to our board members, our staff members, our clients, our stakeholders, community leaders, and of course, our Governor Gordon for being here today. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I also want to thank the Wyoming Department of Health for their support of this important collaboration, particularly Ben Kiefer and Matt Petrie. The Department of Health is a strong partner for our organization, and we appreciate their good work. We also have the Wyoming Department of Corrections and the Wyoming Department of Family Services, both of whom are strong partners of Volunteers of America. VOA is a unique human service organization that blends ministry with a number of core service areas that include addiction treatment, mental health services, veteran services, youth services, adult reentry, affordable housing, homeless services, and community services. That's a lot. You know, we sit down and we try to explain to people who we are and what we do. It can be confusing at times. So if it's confusing to you, that's okay, because we've got a great video that we just had produced by Dave Ball Media, and it's going to demonstrate and show you exactly, kind of in a very short amount of time, who we are. So,
I started using drugs and alcohol at a very young age.
My wife left me, took her son, I lost my house, started drinking myself to death.
I should have gone to prison for 27 years, and I realized there in jail that I didn't want this life.
Went to 4 different treatment centers before I came here, and none of them stuck.
we work with the most vulnerable populations. They're rarely the easiest ones, but those individuals are brothers and sisters, family members, cousins, mothers and fathers of our communities. Volunteers of America is a very diverse organization. We serve youth in residential programs, also outreach, trying to help prevent homelessness. Veteran services are really a mainstay of service delivery for us, and really it's centered around prevention of homelessness. We address seniors in low-income housing and providing safe and secure places for them to live. We offer adults second chances in our residential community correction center as well as our adult treatment programs. We have well over 380 staff members that work with individuals in different capacities, everything from a training or a therapeutic or a spiritual development program to help them learn, to help them understand their own potential, and I would say more importantly, to help them have hope with their life, that it can become more, that it can become better. The merger between Volunteers of America and Peak Wellness Center was a seamless collaboration that occurred earlier this year. It didn't increase our geographical footprint, but what it did do is it brought needed competencies to our service portfolio that we didn't have, including mental health services. We have done treatment, residential treatment in the past, but we've never been able to really get a foothold in outpatient services, serving people with mental health, behavioral health needs. And we also have brought about 100 residential beds in line with our existing 500 beds that we serve. So together, we're serving well over 600 people a day in residential services. This really created a unique opportunity for us to develop that while providing them, I think, the administrative and the fiscal oversight that they needed. So it brought both organization skills and competencies and gaps to the surface, and we were able to really marriage these two organizations in a way that created an even stronger, more sustainable organization.
When I got here, all of the staff just greeted me with open arms, and they accepted me in, and it was almost as if it was a light.
We tried to connect them with their own spirituality as they endeavor to pursue the journey that's in front of them.
I realized when I came to VOA that it wasn't just drugs that was my problem. It was a spiritual vacancy. I was completely dead in my sin.
It's really about an expression of love for those people who don't have the family support structure, the networks that a lot of us take for granted, and we are that network.
If you think of all of the victims that there's not going to be now, because these guys are going to be out there going to church and working their jobs and building their families and building their lives.
They just took me in. They gave me hope, and they made me feel like a normal person again. Had I not felt welcome or been given hope by the staff here, I would have gone back to Cheyenne, and no doubt I would be dead. It was exactly what I needed.
I came here dead, and I left alive and with direction and hope.
Well, I hope one of the things that video, I think, for me really inspires is the concept of transformation, because that's really, in its essence, what we're about. Volunteers America is about deep, meaningful mission impact, transformation of people's lives. We were blessed to have two incredible boards leading each organization throughout the merger process. You will hear from two board members who have keen insight into Volunteers of America, our mission, and the people we serve. I'd like to invite Del Acker to speak first. Del was our board chair throughout the merger process. And then after Del, we'll hear from our current board chair, John Mickey. Both of these men are exceptional leaders with really strong hearts for servant leadership. Please welcome Del Acker.
Well, thanks, Jeff. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege for me both to participate in today and to be here to welcome you to this very special day and this very special event. Thank you for coming out to join us in celebrating what really is a milestone, a turning point for both VOA and Peak Wellness. As VOA board chair during the transition, I do take pride in knowing that the merger process that we proceeded with Peak Wellness was a thoughtful one, an inclusive one, and a comprehensive one. It involved a deep dive into the mission, the culture, and the business practices of both organizations. And it became very apparent early in the process that there was a lot of potential synergy and mission compatibility and opportunity to expand the services of a combined organization. At the same time, I can tell you that for this merger to become a reality, it took a lot of courage and hard work and unwavering dedication to those we serve, by the staff, the leadership team, and both boards. Our fiduciary and strategic oversight responsibilities were taken very seriously by the collective board members of each of the organizations in this process. And we kept the best interest of those we serve out in front of all decisions made during the effort. Throughout this process, I had the opportunity to work closely with Brandon Swain. Brandon was the board chair for Peak Wellness, and it was his support and leadership that enabled this venture to be successful. Brandon, I'm going to ask you to stand and let us recognize you. Thanks, Brandon. And I'm happy to say that Brandon has a key position now on our VOA Northern Rockies Board of Directors. Well, as Jeff mentioned, this merger required tremendous flexibility and collaboration between our organization and the state of Wyoming. Acknowledging our responsibilities to professionally serve thousands of individuals and families across Wyoming. We appreciate out of that the Department of Health's willingness and ability to work with us towards this merger, and at the same opportunity to grow and enhance our services, to be available to serve more people in Wyoming. Well, Peak Wellness Center and Volunteers of America, we each have a long history of service in Wyoming. And now together, as a stronger organization, we have the opportunity to reach deeper with more positive impact into Wyoming community needs. It was my honor to serve as VOA board chair through this merger process. And now I look forward to the opportunity to support a much stronger and bigger and better and larger organization, Volunteers of America. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce our current VOA board chair, John Mickey. John?
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today to be with you to celebrate this. As Dale mentioned, this merger has been through a very thoughtful process. It was not an easy feat and required tremendous effort. I would first like to recognize the Peak Wellness Center board members led by Chair Brandon Swain, who had the courage and insight to align their organization along with Volunteers of America. Will the past Peak board members please stand and let us recognize you? Thank you. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate it. Thank you for your service, your courage, and your leadership. This same courageous leadership was required of the VOA board, led by Board Chair Dale Acker. Would the VOA board who are here today please stand? Let us recognize you. Not all of our board members are here today, but I would like to thank each of you for your service, for your wisdom, and for your stewardship. Thank you very much. We also need to give a big round of applause to all VOA staff, which now includes those who were a part of the Peak Wellness. Would you help me recognize them too, please? They worked tirelessly to bring our two organizations together while not missing a beat with daily service delivery. Thank you for a job well done. Your passion for the people we serve and the commitment to excellence is very much appreciated. Finally, we have a few special guests here today who have received or are currently receiving our services. I would like to thank them for trusting us throughout this merger. Thank you very much. Finally, just want you to know that you are the reason that we exist and that it is an honor to serve you on a daily basis. I would like to offer my heartfelt congratulations to all of you involved with the merger. And I specifically would like to thank Jeff Holsinger, our CEO, for the leadership he provided us during this process. It was his vision, and it was his courage to bring this forward. And Jeff, we thank you as a board for the work you've done. Thank you very much. Let's give him a hand. May God bless each one of you, and may God continue to bless Volunteers of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Dell and John, for your service to Volunteers of America and your words today. I appreciate it very much. It is my pleasure now to introduce Mike King, the CEO of Volunteers of America Incorporated, our national organization. Mike leads our diverse affiliates throughout ever-changing conditions and needs. He's a caring leader who inspires a heart posture for service to our most vulnerable. Please welcome Mike King.
Wow, is this a great day or what? I mean, gorgeous weather, gorgeous weather. And we just came to a wedding. You know, I mean, this is literally a wedding, you know, and we don't have to do all the pictures at the end, okay? You know, where we have to pose up here. This is just an amazing day. I mean, all of you should just relish this day. I mean, just relish this day. I told Jeff last night as we were breaking for dinner, I said, don't worry about tomorrow. You can't do the wrong thing tomorrow. Okay? You know, you can't do the wrong thing tomorrow. This is a day when we all need to just absorb it and enjoy it and stay in the moment of it, because this doesn't happen every day. This doesn't happen every day where people come together like this, put their own personal desires aside, and do what's best for the community out of a feeling of stewardship, total stewardship. Now, you have a story. You have a story in your materials, and by the way, these are gorgeous materials, guys. This is the coming out party for these materials is today, and these are beautiful materials. But right in the middle of your piece, I want you to take a look at this. It's a beautiful story about one of the guys you already saw on the screen, Mike Lash. An amazing story of how literally maybe one of the early collaborations. Think of this as an early collaboration between the Peak Wellness Center and VOA in this person's life. In this person's life. The greatest collaboration, the greatest outcome from a collaboration you can have of changing a life. He's transparent, he's honest, he tells his story here, how literally these two organizations collectively and collaboratively help him put his life back together in recovery. And so, Mike, I want you to stand up. You're out there somewhere. I want you to stand up so we can introduce you to these folks. There you are. There you are. That's why we're here today. 15 years of sobriety and 15 years of working for Volunteers of America Northern Rockies. That's incredible. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for now sharing your life with all of us and literally changing the lives of others. Because, you know, in this particular business, in this particular recovery business, you sort of need to have that credibility of having walked in those shoes to have the total impact that you can have on clients. Folks like myself, we can design stuff, we can talk about it, but we can't talk about it with the kind of street cred that folks like Mike can. And the fact that he's been so transparent and had the courage to continue to do that and give his life to that, that changes it forever. Changes it forever. And those of us who are in this business, we are dependent upon finding the Mike Lashes in the world to serve as counselors and supporters throughout our facilities to make this work really take flight. You make that possible. I also am here to essentially welcome all of the Peak staff, board members, supporters, volunteers to the Volunteers of America family. Welcome to the family. You are now a part, you bet you better applaud. You are a part of a 16,000 member family in 400 communities nationwide, and we embrace you. We absolutely embrace you. We support you, we need you, and we love you. Feel at home. Feel at home. We're going to enjoy getting to know each other even better. You're going to enjoy getting to know the rest of your family better. And you know, we're just like every other family. If you leave the room, we'll talk about you. You know, so hey, that's how I came up with the idea of calling us a family. You know, we have all the attributes and characteristics of a family. There is such a bond there between all of us. And you always know when you're at a Volunteers of America event. Number one, we eat well, okay? And number two, you see the passion in the eyes. You see the passion for the work in the eyes. And I always know when I'm in one of our facilities. And I have to tell you, when I got to go to some meetings and I love those Peak offices in that little Reformed elementary school. Oh my gosh, I love that environment. When I went to those offices and met with many of you folks from Peak about 6 or 8 months ago, I saw that same passion. I saw that same passion in your eyes, and I thought, wow, this is a marriage made in heaven. This is absolutely a marriage made in heaven. I am thrilled that this has come about. I am absolutely thrilled. This is one of the highlights of this year for our entire family. Okay? We're not small. We're a $1.3 billion organization, 16,000 employees. We're in 400 communities. Goodness gracious, we have things going on night and day. I can promise you that your little iPhone's going to go off night and day because everything we do is 24/7 and stuff happens all hours of the day. But this happening today is the biggest thing to happen in our organization all year. All year. What you're doing today, what you're celebrating today, this is huge. This is huge. Because suddenly we have now been married to beautiful people doing beautiful work in concert. It doesn't get any better than that. That's what we live for. But I have to recognize a couple of special people. A couple of special people that months ago really stuck their necks out. First, Klein. Carl Klein stepping up to say, you know what? We can think about how we do this differently. And my good friend and colleague, Jeff Holsinger, for being a good listener, number one. And I'm proud of you, Jeff, for that. And at the same time, coming together and showing incredible courage, dramatic risk in the middle of a pandemic. The whole world is standing still. The whole world is standing still. In the middle of a pandemic, you guys pulled off the greatest gathering, if you will, the greatest coming together that could possibly be pulled off. And why? Why? Because you cared first and foremost about the impact this would have on the people that we all are here to serve. Absolutely the stewardship of that. Thank you so very much for that, for showing that leadership, for being role models for the rest of us to go forward with that. Thank you so much. Everyone enjoy this day. Be thankful for this day. In reality, Thanksgiving came early. Thanksgiving came early in Wyoming. I came early in Wyoming, and I'm thrilled I just got to be here to see it. God bless you.
Well, thanks, Mike, for those kind words and that inspiring just thoughts. We truly are a family, and I appreciate you coming all the way from D.C. to join us. I know you came in a jet 100 years ago. You'd be in a wagon. We'd still be waiting for you, but I'm glad we got jet service now. Thanks for making the trip. Now, and I mean this 100%, it is truly my honor to introduce our governor. You know, I met Mark the first time in Perkins. Board member introduced me well before he was a governor. He was just a rancher. He and his wife were ranchers, and a lot going on he allowed me to take some of his time and talk about Volunteers America and talk about the people we serve. And I had a bigger agenda. It was to talk to him about a board position. And I learned and I saw right then that Governor Gordon had a deep understanding and a deep commitment for the type of services that we provide. He has a deep commitment to mental health services for all of our citizens. So his history is one of service. He served years ago on the Northern Wyoming Mental Health Board of Directors in Northeast Wyoming. And then, as I said, prior to his election as governor, he served on the Volunteers of America Board of Directors for 9 years. This is where he displayed great passion for the needs of the people we serve. He always represented the philosophy of providing, always. He does represent, I don't want to sound like it's an obituary or anything. Governor Gordon does represent. He believes in a philosophy of providing a hand up, not a handout. And that aligns so well with how Volunteers of America stewards its resources. It is my honor to introduce a man I deeply respect, VOA's past board member, my friend. Please welcome our distinguished governor, the Honorable Mark Gordon.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Try to run this microphone the way I was taught. Thank you. Jeff, thanks so much for that introduction. And for those of you who don't know, Jeff is an amazing fisherman. You know, that's why I know he is a man of Christ, because Christ was also a fisherman. Christ was very, very precise about the number of fish he turned into loaves. And Jeff has this amazing boat with all kinds of electronics on it. And little did I know that the day that I met Jeff, he was actually going to reel me in for today. So, but really, I thought I would just talk a little bit about meeting Jeff and why Volunteers of America is such an amazing organization. When I met Jeff, I had gone through, my first wife had passed away, and I had daughters 4 and 2. And being a rancher, I was fortunate to be able to spend time in school with my kids. And to get to know some of the other parents that would come in as well. Early on, I wanted to make sure that I had done the right thing by my children, and so I was on the board of Northern Wyoming Mental Health Board, a position I sort of got because another good friend of many of us in this room, John Schiffer, who sadly passed away, told me, by golly, you're going to get on that board and do that work. John was an amazing champion in the legislature for mental health and had a commitment that I hope to be able to, in some way, emulate. But then I had a board member that said, you need to come up and look at the treatment facilities that we have in Sheridan, Wyoming. Meet some of our board members and meet our CEO. So there I was at Perkins. Wonderful cake and all the other things, good conversation, and then you gathered me up and took me out to the men's center. Actually, it was a women's center because the men's center was where my sister was born, at a little old brick building downtown Sheridan, and I know why my mother made sure she was not there the second time when I came along. And VOA now has a fabulous new facility for men as well. But anyway, what was amazing to me was that I figured Jeff had sort of lined this up to go through the program, make sure I met some of the clients and had good conversations. And all of that I expected, and I was very impressed. But I have to tell you why it was astounding to me. In that room, completely unknown to anybody else, was a mother that I had been in the classroom with my oldest daughter with. Her daughter actually had been one of my daughter's best friends, and what was astounding to me, this is a mother who cared deeply about her children, who would go in and read and do all the things that parents do. And when Danica would come over to visit, her mother would make sure things were great. And I was being a single dad, very, very, very worried about my daughters and everything that went on. Well, this mother came up to me and said, "This program has turned my life around. I lost my way. I got sort of behind the 8 ball with substance abuse, and this program has changed my life." And I'm proud to say it has changed her life. It was important for her daughter. And so, Jeff, completely unscripted, what an amazing program this VOA program has been and continues to be. And how important it is at this time when we have pandemic, we have crisis with funding. We've talked a lot about budgets and what the great big thing that VOA can help in terms of just sort of professional management and acknowledgement of the resources that are available. That's all great. But down at its soul, VOA is about people. It's about people, it's about caring, it's about making sure that regardless of the challenges that we face, we will step up to the plate. And when I look in this room, and I want to just recognize Peak Wellness first, because I've also sent people your way who were in great need, and Peak Wellness met their need. So congratulations to you, Peak Wellness, for being part of this marriage, as Mr. King put it. I'm just gonna wonder who the sort of awkward uncle or aunt is in this room, but we'll find that out here in a moment, Mike. But then I also want to recognize VOA board for what they've done and the VOA staff for what they've done. Remarkable people with hearts that just are deep and full and driven. And then I also want to recognize what Jeff did early. I know Director Schmidt is here from Department of Family Services. Director Schmidt, can I recognize you? Director Shannon, you're here as well. I don't know if Director Johansson is here, but the Department of Health, Department of Corrections, Department of Family Services, you and your staff have done an amazing job over the last couple of years. Your partnership with VOA is only part of the story. The fact that every day you go to work and you take the care that you do, you demonstrate the passion and the compassion, the integrity and the respect that we saw on these slides. For all of you in this room, God bless you and thank you for what you do. Give yourselves a hand. So, sadly, there is going to be a lot that we need to do in the months to come. But when I look at this room and I see the resources that are here, and I see the people that are here, and I see the people that have a deep experience, and I see the people who have a deep knowledge about how to meet those needs, it is just a gut cinch that when I worried about what was going to happen to our veterans after the withdrawal from Afghanistan, I reached out to Jeff. And I said, Jeff, how can we pull all these things together? And part of the reason was because in that little brick house on the VA property in Sheridan, there's a room that has a couple of bunk beds in it. And there's an entire family that usually is staying there because they're trying to find a new home. It's not the same family. They go over and over and over again. VOA has shown compassion, and if there is anything this nation needs to do at this point, it is to look to our veterans to say thank you for your service. It was not a waste. You brought forward the spirit that is America. You brought forward the service that is America. What is in this room is the America that I grew up in and the America that I believe shares that compassion and wants to drive us forward to be the great nation that we are. So as we look at the resources and as we look at the challenges that come, we know a lot that we need to do to meet those challenges. What's exciting about today, and it's the marriage that's come about today, is that people are thinking about meeting those challenges in new ways, of delivering different types of resources, of listening incredibly carefully to whether those resources, whether that counsel, whether that compassion is actually meeting the needs that we have. And I will tell you, in this governor's office, we're going to listen to what you have to say too. Now, we all can use more money, and we obviously all can make a greater commitment to getting those resources to the ground as much as we can. So the Department of Health, for example, most of its budget, it is the largest budget in the state's budget. Most of it goes to support organizations like Peak Wellness, like Volunteers of America, like all the local organizations around the state. We're going to need to support that effort even more because, unfortunately, we have people that are dealing with crisis every single moment of the day. And what you can do with this effort, with this creativity, with trying to find better and more efficient ways to do what we need to do, is we can help people get back on their feet to make sure that this state moves forward, that our economy moves forward. So we're working very diligently across all kinds of platforms to make sure that our mental health services are stronger, are getting better, and are delivering the services where they need to be. And that's sometimes tough in a rural community, which is why it is so great that you all are here, because sometimes the best help you can get is just from a friend, somebody who cares, a family member, somebody who just can lend an ear. So these are challenging times, and they will continue to be challenging times. But this collaboration is the wave of the future. And Del and John, thank you for your leadership. Thank you, Brandon, for your leadership as well. So, lastly, and I want to leave you with something that's been going through my mind since the withdrawal from Afghanistan. We have a great nation. We have wonderful people. We have ideals. That ideal was built from people who believed in the future, whether it was this nation when we first established ourselves or whether it was this state when people showed up here and said, this is Wyoming. You know, we're sort of about cowboys, but we're really about enterprise. We're about the future. We're about what we can do. And 20 years ago this week, we saw the towers in New York fall. We saw our nation attacked by exterior forces. And as we saw all of that crumble, America came together in a unified voice and said, not on our watch will that happen. We were a united country at that point. Since that time, some of that has begun to break down. And maybe that is something that this nation's just going to have to go through. And I don't want to be too philosophical about this. But again, it comes back to the people in this room who are showing the compassion, the respect, the love of one another, and the opportunity to make this nation rediscover our service, our view of the future, and the great, great ideals that are America. God bless you. God bless America. And Jeff, thank you so much for inviting me here today.
Thank you, Governor Gordon. I'm grateful for your strength as our leader. I'm grateful for your courage, and I'm most importantly grateful for your heart posture for the people of not only our country, but of Wyoming, and all that we do. Thank you. Let's give the governor another round. So I'm grateful for Mike. Thank you for speaking today. Thank you for demonstrating so well the love of Volunteers America. You know, Mike was the first one that came out and said, you know what? VOA is in the love business. And at first I was like, man, what's... That makes me feel a little funny, but you know what? It doesn't anymore, Mike. We are in the love business, and I'm all about it. So thank you for being here. Dell and John, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your wisdom. These are two men that have guided me, that have shepherded me, and have been critically important to how well we pulled and worked together to create a seamless merger between our two organizations. So thank you both. Appreciate it so much. So we have done, we've done a number of these over the years. We've actually been through 6 other smaller mergers, and each one was unique, and each one went really well. It's kind of surprising, and this undertaking was really challenging. I was grateful, and I want to say it again. I was grateful for the Department of Health and the exceptional work they did, the professionalism that they displayed. But I got to tell you, I see that professionalism across the board. Department of Family Services, Department of Corrections, all 3 of which are extremely important partners of ours. And I just want to say thank you again, Corin. And I haven't met our new Director of Corrections. I'll look forward to doing that here soon, Shannon. But thank you both for your work and all that you do. Matt, it's good to see you here today. We are a team, and we've got lots of other providers in the room with us, and that we're collaborating with and we're aligned with, and all of us have just a huge love and compassion and intense desire to do good work. We do. And so for all the other providers that are here, I'd like to just give them a round of applause because they are doing good work. Going through this merger process, it's been very humbling and at the same time exciting, kind of like a roller coaster. You're really zipping down, then you're going back up, and it's just it's an emotional roller coaster. And I've been proud to lead this organization, and I've been proud to lead our teams of staff and volunteers, all of them exhibit excellence, compassion, and integrity. Our value statements are right over there. And I can tell you that is not a top-down value proposition. That was built from the bottom up, from within the organization. It really came from the voices of our team. And this is what we live. And when team members come on board with our organization, they measure up to their other team members based on those values. We're not perfect, but boy, we try every day to do the best we can. And when we mess up, we love on each other and we forgive each other. We extend grace. And I think that goes in line with what Governor Gordon was talking about. We need more of that. We need more of it in our communities. We need more of it on how we work with each other and how we deal with the big problems. You know, I like to say we have God-sized problems that frankly need God-sized solutions. And I hope all of you will continue to embrace that idea and continue to work collaboratively in your own communities, to reach out to solve these problems. Before I close and we get into the ribbon cutting, I want to offer, and Mike already offered a well-deserved acknowledgement to Carl Klein, but I want to also offer an acknowledgement. I want to give Carl my special thanks to you. Carl was the CEO of Peak Wellness Center. And back in 2 Julys ago, Carl and I were just two colleagues talking. I was shared at dinner last night. We're two buddies checking in. He was running Peak, I was running VOA. And my hope is that's what you want. We need to be able to talk. We need to be able to trust each other and communicate where our challenges and our hardships are. And we need to have these moments of intimacy where we can kind of put things aside and lay it on the ground and look at what's real and what needs to happen. And he and I talked about the challenges. And we talked about what could be. We had a couple meetings on our own. And we just wanted to see if there was an opportunity to have a vision for this, and there was. And then we brought our chairmans together. Brandon and Dell, we had dinner at Poor Richard's, which closed. And I hear it's not even around anymore. I mean, Carl said they bulldozed it. That was like one of my favorite restaurants. But we met there, and we wanted to get to know each other. And Dell and John talked about the thoughtfulness that went through this process. It is a thoughtful process. There's a very long list of due diligence. Then there's the engagement of the boards. And there's multiple opportunities for leadership to meet between the boards and the staff. And it's a slow process. And then you get our customers involved, Department of Health and others. And we start talking about how do we serve better? How do we create deeper impact? All along the way, that was Carl's focus, showing great humility, a strong desire to see things better than they were, a strong desire to see Peak Wellness Center and Volunteers of America do amazing things together. So, Carl, I'm grateful for your confidence, the faith and fortitude that you displayed bringing Peak Wellness Center together in partnership with VOA. Thank you. I'd like to give Carl another round. Carl is now working harder than ever. He's our Executive Vice President of Advancement. So the poor guy has to report to me and work with me day in, day out. He's doing a great job, but he's overseeing our fundraising, communications, business development, and strategy. You each have a tour card in your contact information in your folders, and there's contact information for Carl. And I invite you to come see our work, to see firsthand our mission impact, and to tour our programs. So reach out to Carl. Please don't hesitate. We'd love to show you around and show you what we do in partnership with some of the state departments here in Wyoming. Well, I'm grateful for all of you coming today. We're gonna close our celebration in a ribbon cutting. It's fitting, and so I'm gonna ask that Governor Gordon, that you're going to come up, and I'd like Carl Klein, Brandon Swain, John Mickey, Del Acker, and Mike King to please be kind of coming up here, and we're going to do a ribbon cutting. And some of you that haven't finished your desserts, please do so at the end. But this is going to commemorate our two organizations coming together. And these are really sharp scissors. We've tested them already. They're the biggest scissors you can ever get a hold of.
And I see some legislators in the room. This is red tape.
Okay. All right, hang on. We're going to get a picture. We'll pull it.
Okay, cut whenever you're ready.
All right.
Congratulations.
Well, again, I want to thank all of you for coming today. I especially want to thank the boards of Volunteers of America and Peak Wellness Center. It really was their leadership, their trust, their courage to kind of work through a very long process and their commitment to that process, multiple meetings. I'd like to give them one more round of applause. Thank you. All right. God bless you all. Thanks for coming. Staff, have a great day.